Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to, finally, welcome along to the EML launch show for season number 6. We are here tonight to take you through everything that is good about Esports Masters League. Of course, my name is James Hay, going to be taking you through as your lead host, I guess, tonight, also lead commentator for Esports Masters League. Joining me in the comment box, I wish you could see him. We certainly can't on our end, but he is here nonetheless. Joining me as co-host, it is Mr. Mike Edwards. Mike, how are you doing?
I am doing great. I mean, first of all, we'd like to apologize to the viewers for the tech issues getting the stream sorted first and foremost. But we did manage to get it in the end. Unfortunately, unable to get my camera in, but we got it done as quickly as possible.
We did. Eventually, technology was on our side, and eventually, Mike, I think, is going to be qualifying for tech support after all of his shenanigans and everything that was going on in behind. But we are live, and that's the main thing. We're also joined, though, by some very special guests. Most of them, of course, you might have seen an EML F2 from CPI. It is Mr. Troy A. Troy A, say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Very welcome indeed. And representing IRT, we have both Bumye and indeed Steban. Both of you guys, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, and I can't wait, to join this awesome launch show.
Yeah, same for me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you alongside us as well. It is going to be very, very interesting indeed, and hopefully we can get off to a great start. And speaking of getting off to a great start, let's get straight into it because we are running a little bit late and a little bit behind schedule. Let's have a focus on, of course, Esports Masters League last season and remind you guys what happened last season as well in terms of Academy, in terms of F2, and indeed in terms of F1. And it was the Academy that we take the first look at. ETA Academy, of course, on top on 512 points from WR Academy on 402. NLR Development in third on 393. IRT Academy in fourth on 345. RCR in fifth on 164. And then G League apparently only had nil point, or un point, as they had for the French team there in sixth position. And Mike, of course, you were commentating over most of the Academy season last season. ETA out on top really, really showed why they mean business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with ET8, their teamwork really shone through over the course of the season, and it essentially early on became a race for second place between NLR, WOR, and IRT, and it was swinging back and forth between NLR and WOR, but in the end, with a double podium in the last race, it was WOR who took P2 in the standings.
It was indeed, only with one win and 7 podiums to their name as well, being outscored by NLR Development in every stretch of the imagination in terms of wins and podiums. But it did come to that down to that final race, as you mentioned, WR Academy in second on 402, NLR only 9 points behind in third on 393. With a focus to IRT, let's speak to Steban, who I'm going to pick on beautifully for this. IRT Academy, of course, in fourth. First question really is, what the hell happened? Why did you finish fourth?
Well, of course, other teams just picked up better results throughout the last part of the season. I think we picked up a little bit of momentum in the middle of the season where we were gaining points to WR and NLR, but we just came up short, unfortunately. Just made some mistakes and had some unlucky moments because we had other drivers running in really high positions and that we couldn't quite convert that to a good finish. I think our best result was probably like third or fourth throughout the season, but never got a second place or a win since we were winless in the academy event, which sucks. But other teams just did a better job. But we were nearby, so that's also very promising.
Yeah, definitely. So I think honestly with IRT, they fell a little bit behind. Obviously, the final couple of rounds coming into play, Las Vegas being that final round as well. IRT, of course, WR, NLR. I'm gonna say a more recognisable name. Steve, I'm probably gonna shout at me right now for saying that. But IRT in fourth, 345 points, still a very good showing. Of course, beating LCR Academy, beating G League. Unfortunately, though, for the Academy side, not gonna be happening going into season 6. So with an eye on that, Steve, I'm coming back to IRT for a second. How are the Academy drivers going to fit into the fold? Because obviously EML F2, EML F1 are going to be back, of course, on the PlayStation side for Season 6. How do the Academy guys fit into that fold?
Well, of course, quite disappointed to see the Academy event not taking place because we would have loved it to give our guys more opportunities to drive for us. But yeah, we got to make some changes maybe throughout the driver pool to see who maybe gets a drive in EML of one or other leagues. So that's going to be a decision we're gonna have to make within the management here. But there's plenty of leagues out there for the academy that we have managed to find throughout the community. So it sucks, but yeah, we'll find other events.
Yeah, definitely so, and obviously 2024 on the horizon as well. Certainly going to be interesting to see how IRT and all teams, of course, get on from the academy side and how they progress and how their drivers progress. Of course, going into next season in season number 6. Let's have a focus then on F2 and speak to the man who, of course, has represented the champions here, CPI, Mr. Troy A. CPI coming out on top. Very good season from their perspective. 6 wins, 10 podiums to their name. Very, very strong showing from you guys, and of course, getting that promotion to F1.
Yeah, man. Everyone in the team were delighted, obviously, when it was confirmed. To be completely honest with you, we were quite disappointed being in F2 in the first place, but we only held ourselves to blame, really. So, yeah, I haven't been that angry in a while after a qualifying session. And yeah, everyone in the team more or less agreed that domination is the only option here and straight up to F1 as quick as possible. And I'm happy that we fulfilled that at least.
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, top 2 from F1 also getting qualified as well. But a phenomenal showing, of course, ending up with 104 points ahead of IRT. It must fill you in really good stead for what is to come with the team. Especially, I know, obviously, Leslie has left the team recently, but CPI have done a fantastic job. What does the future hold in EML in 2024 for CPI?
Man, to be honest, looking at the F1 grid at the moment, we've been obviously competing in a lot of competitions lately, and we've been able to hold our ground for sure against more or less all teams in that division lately. But I think apart from, I think it's F7R, we haven't really been competing with yet. But yeah, man, we're very ambitious. I don't want to say too much, but yeah, my drivers are really going for it, and they really are set in with a nothing to lose mentality, you know. So they're ready to they're ready to go for first, man. They're ready to dethrone the championship holders at the moment.
Yeah, and obviously you get IRT with you going into next season as well. Of course, top team from F2 getting getting up in towards F1, of course, for next season. I'm going to come across the Bumye now for IRT. IRT finishing second in the end, 104 points behind. A little bit underwhelming, I think, because I think you drove in a couple of those races as well.
I did one race, yeah. It was I think Japan where I came in last minute. Um, I I think I finished somewhere in the top 10, and it was maybe a little bit underwhelming being so far behind CPI. But seeing where we came from last season, I think we finished seventh to now finish P2. I think 30 points or something ahead of WR as well is a great step up from the team.
Yeah, WR much more recognisable, I think, than IRT. They've been around a lot more since a lot longer than IRT. But from that progression, from your first season in finishing seventh, moving into second, again, same question as I asked Troy there. What does the future hold for IRT in 2024?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit. The progression we've had in 2023 and mainly on this game, I think has been astounding. It's been very great. If you can keep this progression up, we're really trying in the team now to keep those performances as they were in EML F2 last season, maybe even elevate those to another level and yeah, attack the big boys.
Attack the big boys. I like it. I like it. Hopefully, we do get to see IRT attack the big boys. Hopefully, we get to see CPI tackle the big boys as well next season in F1. A reminder as well of the rest of the field from F2 last season. WR finishing third 132. Then a bit of a gap down to LDL in fourth on 166. TGT in fifth on 158. Very, very close, actually, with Team TF10, who came in very late, albeit I absolutely mentioned this in the admin chat, and I'll let everyone know on the stream now. TF10 should not have been in F2. When they joined very late, I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe they're going to try and dominate things, but ending up 6th position means they're back down in F2 once again if they do sign up. Grand Track 10 in 7th on 137, LON in 8th on 128, and RVL 9th on 109, and Legacy Pit Lane in 10th on 75 points. So that's how the lay of the land lied with F2. Let's have a look, though, at F1 from last season. And, well, Mike, I'm going to come across to you with this one because you joined me for a couple of these rounds. F7R defeating OP by 2 points in the end. The big story was, though, throughout the season, F7R against OP, that constant battle that we had, even in other leagues, even in PSGL, WR Console Tier 1, Legacy Division, they have been at each other's throats throughout. 2024 for both their teams. Are they going to settle their differences? And are we going to see that add on track?
I mean, I'm not sure if we're going to see them settle their differences because, as you mentioned, it is a case of iron sharpens iron, and the competition between those two have definitely been enjoyable to watch over the course of the season in F1. But with a lot of new teams in there as well. Obviously, you got Shazoo and NLR. You got obviously CPI and IRT going up as well. It's going to make a very interesting dynamic to see how F7R and OP actually fare in the new season against these teams as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think F7R OP, obviously from the Legacy Division, I know Season 4 Legacy Divisions are going to be getting going soon as well. And it'll be interesting to see how the team dynamic has changed, whether OP, I know they've brought Alex the G in, who I know was a very, very much a big asset of Esports Masters League in the past, brought him in as one of their managers. Is that going to change the fortunes for OP? Because they bottled the championship here in EML. They bottled the championship in Legacy Division. You probably know where I'm going to go with this. Are they going to bottle again in Season 6?
Well, I mean, for the football fans, maybe OP are the F1 esports equivalent of Tottenham Hotspur. You never know.
Well, we can't get away with that, surely. We can't get away with that. But yeah, OP, it's all fair and love and war, by the way. I'm not ratifying any of the teams. It is just my opinion. You can take it as you like, but it is, again, unscripted, this as well, because we are live right now. But looking at the rest of the grid, Team Shazoo in third, NLR in fourth, another big battle that we had along with G League, GLGL coming to the fore there as well. Apparently, actually, I've just realised on the graphic, they're 117 points behind F7R. That's a bit of a typo, I think. Maze, you're going to be sacked as our graphics man, I think, for that one. But yeah, Shazoo NLR, third and fourth, G League in fifth. That midpoint battle really got decided in the final couple of rounds. And in the end, Shazoo had to lean on the likes of the experienced figures of Tom to come and save them.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the team that Shazoo have, is that they do have these experienced heads to come in when the going gets tough and get them the results that they need to climb themselves up the order.
Yeah, definitely. So NLR, of course, I know Nuth is going to be in a big important part, hopefully, of NLR moving forward. I look forward to seeing how he gets on, out on track as well. G League in fifth, 232. They've got a very strong point. And then we had RCR and X Esports, 7th and 8th. I remember X Esports, Qatar, I think it was. And one of their drivers, and I can't for the life of me think of who it was. You might have to correct me on this one. But X Esports, I think it was Felix 1. Going back in the archives, I think it was Felix 1. 111 points for them. They had a really good showing in Qatar. And RCR and X Esports, RCR really came to the fore in the second half of the season. So both of them teams, certainly, if they qualify once again for F1, certainly teams to watch out for.
I mean, yeah, definitely teams to watch out for. There's been, for X Esports especially, it's been steady improvement and growth over the course of, since they've established themselves, and they've constantly been on the upward trajectory. And yeah, I mean, 2024, they could be taking another step forward again.
Yeah, let's hope they do. Let's hope they do, because I think it's going to be really important to see how every team, no matter who signs up, is going to progress forward in 2024. New year, new beginnings and all of that. I'm a big, big viber in terms of that as well. But unfortunately, the vibes are less great for PGS and Racing, now Rising Lions, of course, and WSC, who have got relegated, of course, to F2, which for CPI and IoT means they don't have to race them, which I think is very good in both of their eyes. But PGS and WSC, I think, struggled to get consistency. That was their ultimate downfall. They struggled to get consistency, and I think there was 1 week where PGS brought in Benny and Cagino to try and get some points. They had a very good race, I think it was in Brazil. And PGS and WSC, unfortunately, they weren't consistent enough to try and ride up with the top teams.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing with every single season. There's going to be teams that do get relegated, and it all comes down to consistency in the end of the day. But for PGS and WSC, I mean, if they do sign back up, I mean, F2 is a good redemption arc for them.
Definitely so. And obviously, as well, with it being PlayStation based, of course, we've got another tier going to be announced in this stream as well. So hopefully, we might get to see the team on that platform as well. That's all I'm teasing right now. But what we can tease no longer is what is going to be happening for Season 6. And by first means no least, Mr. Michael Edwards, you are going to be in the commentary box with Lesty for F2 next season. How are you feeling going into that alongside the man who was formerly of CPI?
I am very much looking forward to it. I mean, me and Lesty have commentated with each other before in EML plenty of times, so it's already good chemistry there, and definitely going to be looking forward to seeing what the guys in F2 can do, and seeing who's going to be looking to get promotion at the end of the season.
Definitely so. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because you and Leslie work very well as a partnership as well. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how that gets on. Hopefully, as well, the racing has got there, and hopefully F2 can thrive. F2, by the way, is going to be at a slightly earlier time. We'll come on to that in just a second, because lo and behold, look who's commentating F1. A very awkward-looking me alongside Jamie Morris on that graphic, by the looks of it. But I'm delighted, of course, to be commentating, I think, my 6th season now on EML. So I've been here pretty much since its inauguration, since TTML was a thing as well back in the day. And I'm really looking forward to sharing the box with Jamie. I know Jamie hasn't been well, so get well soon, Jamie. Hopefully you will be back at Fine Festival for next season. Hopefully you'll be back in Fine Festival for a couple of days' time for EEC as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the action at the ML F1, and hopefully we get the top teams there, likes of F7R, OP, likes of CPI and ISE going to be in there as well. Looking forward to seeing how everything gets on. And that is the commentary side of things. But what we can go into as well is the good old point system as well. And it is unchanged from last season, so nothing to really write home about, but a reminder for everyone that doesn't realise what the point system is in EML. First place getting 30 points, second place 25, third place 20, then fourth place 17, fifth place 15, and then 1 point increments from 6th all the way down to 19th. They'll get a point. Unfortunately, we don't pay for a points position in P20, but the fastest lap point is there to take as well. And Mike, looking at that point system, again, very fair in terms of this team event. And if it's anything like what we had with F7R and OP, only separated by 2 points, the point system definitely works.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, in terms of the consistency that we mentioned as well with the relegated teams, you have to be consistent over the course of the season to be even within a shout of the championship and to try and maintain your spot in F1. It's gonna be interesting because obviously one thing that we do like to see is, even if you're having a bad race, is get to the end, because you never know when those points are gonna matter at the end of the season. So that's always a good thing as well. And yeah, the point system being the same, very easy for us to remember.
Very easy for us to remember. Not easy for me to remember because I normally forget a lot of things in EML, but that is just the part and parcel of commentary, the part and parcel of me as well with the point system. But it is a very fair point system. Hopefully the drivers will like it. Hopefully the teams will like it. And hopefully there'll be no complaints from team managers either. Guys, I'm looking at you joining us in the commentary box here tonight. But what we can look at as well is the PlayStation Championship calendar. Now, looking at the bottom right-hand corner, you can tell that F2, as I mentioned earlier on, is at a slightly earlier time, 7 PM UK time, which means it doesn't share its own slot which I'm delighted to say, with F1. F1, of course, is going to be at the traditional time of 8 p.m. UK time. And we have our qualifiers coming up in around about 5 weeks' time. We're going to be at Silverstone on the 7th of February for qualifiers. A fantastic track to have as the qualifying track. I think it was one of the qualifying tracks as well for EEC, if I'm not mistaken. But Britain obviously qualifies. Then we get straight into it. Round 1 of the championship on the 21st of February for Spain, and then it's round 2, Monza, 28th of February. Monza you can catch also this Wednesday for EEC. Hungary, round 3 on the 6th of March. The Mexico, round 4 on the 13th of March. Then Texas in round 5 on the 20th of March. And I'm going to pick on Mr. Steban for this one. Let's hear a bit of thoughts from the teams from the first half of the season. Qualifiers first, though. Silverstone, a fantastic track. Certainly going to be interesting to see how IRT get on around there. Actually, no, IRT's not even going to be qualifying, so why am I even asking you? But anyway, Silverstone, fantastic track to race around. Going to be interesting for the qualifiers out on track.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very difficult track to get right, to be honest. So qualifying is going to be exciting, whoever we're going to pair up alongside.
Yeah, going to be very much interesting indeed. And looking through, of course, we've got the break week on the 27th of March as well. Then it's Baku making its triumphant return, I'm delighted to say, for the PlayStation side. 3rd of April for them. Then it's Bahrain the 10th of April. Jeddah on the 17th. Singapore on the 24th of April. And then we end off in Abu Dhabi, round 10 on the 1st of May. And Steban, coming back to you. Looking at that calendar, what is a favourite track for an IRT driver? What is that bread and butter track that you're thinking to do well at?
I mean, there's a couple of good tracks out there. I think Spain and Italy are quite strong ones for us. And then Abu Dhabi we can do quite well at. But yeah, Singapore could be a strong one for us. But you never know. It's still quite a long way away, so times can always change. But yeah, I'm quite confident for a Singapore and a Monza, especially.
Yeah, going to be really interesting, I think, to see how everything gets on there as well. I can also mention that Bahrain is a race that I've actually won at in League of Europe Division 4. Steban knows fine well about my performance around there in Bahrain because he was driving alongside me that night. Bahrain is going to be one of the tracks that I could actually put that fact out at. So that's going to be pretty good. And, of course, sign-ups will be open, I believe. I just need to find the information for this. I think sign-ups are going to be open now. The deadline is the 24th of January, 2024. So if you want to get involved, you want to get off the New Year hoodoo and all of that and get the alcohol out of the system before then, you can do. You can sign up your team 24th of January. Now, there is a precursor to this. As per the recent seasons in EML, it is no assist. So no assist teams only. If you're a team that wants to be put together and you're all assist drivers like me and Steban, then that is definitely not going to work, and unfortunately you can't sign up. But it is going to be interesting. Even more interesting, I'm going to come across to Mike for this one, that for the first time ever in Esports Masters League history, we have got a prize pool for F1 and indeed F2. F2 first place gets €50. First place for F1 gets €75. So, Mike, with that prize pool incentive in mind, surely we're going to get better teams signing up, and surely we're going to see them competing for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be seeing teams putting in every little bit of effort possible now to make sure that they are the ones on top getting that prize money at the end of the season. And I am very much excited to seeing what's called how some of these the drivers and that in F2, for example, how they're gonna get on, how they're gonna coexist, and you know, with the calendar as well. I'm gonna say my personal favorite track, and I'm gonna say well done Baku already in advance.
Well, this is about a track, by the way, in the 24 hours of F1 that Mike crashed at on the final lap of the race. I don't know how he managed that, and I don't know how Baku's your favourite track either.
I may have Charles Leclerc into the castle wall.
Oh, don't
Go
worry.
for fastest lap.
Me and you have now embraced that castle wall because I tried to overtake the outsider Tom Zaggers, Mr. Honey Badger, around the outside through there. Didn't end well, is all I'm going to say. And yeah, that is going to be interesting. The calendar, of course, will be reminded at the end of this show. But what we're going to do is take a slight intermission break and hear a word from our sponsors, of course, Rising Lions and indeed Next Level Racing. We'll be back with you after this trailer in 30 seconds. And that was, of course, a word from our sponsors, Next Level Racing, and of course, they're going to be sponsoring Esports Masters League and indeed the European Esports Championship as well. Moving forward, a fantastic event to be a part of for Esports Masters League, certainly. And also, a big thank you. I'm just going to try and find my my merchandise, which has actually escaped me, so I don't know where my merchandise is. Anyways, pretend I've got an orange hat on that I was about to show, but we can thank Rising Lions as well for being a sponsor of Esports Masters League, and of course the team are going to be setting up their esports side in 2024, the karting team, the karting academy as well. Going to be fantastic to see, of course, how they get on, and indeed how they get on as well in Esports Masters League moving forward. Yeah, I was supposed to have an orange hat, and yeah, I should have got that ready before the stream actually started. So you could have seen me looking like Parappa the Rapper, but there we are. I think all fair enough, Mull. You'll see that on the first round of the championship. Anyways, we will swiftly move on to our brand new announcement. And I'm going to come back to the camera for this one. Mr. Mike Edwards, are we about to announce the first ever, well, the first ever bit on a different platform for this launch show and indeed for EML moving forward? This is a new venture, new embarkation in terms of teams. This is going to be interesting, and I'm going to reveal it right now if I've picked the right thing. No, I haven't. There we are. So, for the first time ever in Esports Masters League, unlike the prize pool as I mentioned earlier on, Esports Masters League will have its own PC side. You might have seen it, the own PC Championship a couple of seasons ago. Well, it is back, and there is your commentary team for the for EML PC this season in Season 6. Joshua Griffin Meek, JGM, the PSGL F3 commentator, is our lead comms, along with Alex Heron. So both of them, I think that is Death Sky, if I'm not mistaken, Deathlink, one of the two. Alex Heron, though, joined alongside in the commentary box, and Mike, EML PC gonna be really, really opening up new opportunities for teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited that we have a PC tier now in EML, and as you mentioned, it just opens up so many more opportunities. And maybe down the line, who knows what the future holds? Maybe we could see all three platforms represented in EML.
Maybe, yeah. It's going to be interesting, I think, to see how everything gets on for EML PC. Of course, Nathan Richards took through the EML Championship back in the day. We had a season off, and now we're back once again for Season 6 this time. Technically Season 1 of EML PC, but Season 6 we're going to refer to on this stream here tonight. And a reminder of the point system, you already saw, of course, on the PlayStation side, same points apply in terms of the point system. So everything is the same. 30 points for the race win, second place getting 25, third place getting 20, fourth place 17, and then fifth place on 15, and then one point increments all the way down to 19th position. Fastest that point also available as well. Difference in the calendar to, of course, EML, PS, F1 and F2. Races, of course, are at 8 PM UK time, but this is going to be taking part, I believe, on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got Britain as qualifiers, as per expected, for the PC Championship. And then it's the same calendar, just with different days. So we've got Spain round 1, Monza round 2, Hungary round 3, Mexico round 4, Texas round 5, then a break week, then Baku round 6, Bahrain, Jeddah, Singapore, in Abu Dhabi, round 10 of the championship. All races on the Friday night is going to happen at 8 p.m. UK time, so exactly the same time as PSF1 happens on a Wednesday. That is going to be the same on a Friday, and we get an extra stream on League Racing TV. Gone are the days of having TML on a Thursdays, but EML PC back on a Friday, and just don't we love to see it. And Mike, that calendar again for the PC side, gonna be interesting to see in terms of the teams who we get in terms of personnel, who we get in terms of the drivers, who we get in terms of the teams. But whatever happens and whatever teams sign up, it is going to be one hell of a treat to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, there are a few of the teams on the PlayStation tiers that do have PC tiers as well. So that we could see teams from the PlayStation represented on the PC as well, which I'm excited for. And yeah, I mean, the calendar obviously is going to be very interesting over the course of the season, and it's going to be very exciting. So make sure you guys tune in for it.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting indeed. I know OP have got their own PC side. The likes of Louis Valentine have been moving over there. I think Flopman has been moving over there as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be interesting to see how OP might fare if they sign up, of course, on the PC side. I think NLR have got a PC side, as we mentioned, alongside the PS side. So looking forward to see how their drivers might get on. Not sure if we're going to see any IRT CPR representation, but Stephen, I'm going to come across to you. IRT, do you even have a PC side, or is it just PlayStation?
For the moment, we're only on PlayStation, but we may have had some talks about opening a PC site. So you never know. But for the moment, it's only PlayStation.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was, but that might be an exclusive in its own right because he might have just let go a little bit of information. That's a world exclusive, I think, on this stream, quite literally. But IRT thinking about opening up the PC, so I get League Racing report on the news right now, Mr. Michael Edwards. You can write that report up at the end of tonight. But yeah, of course. You are already on it. Fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be interesting though to see how the drivers get on, how the teams get on. Whatever teams sign up, I know for fine fact we're going to be in for an absolute treat. Might be like PSGLE series where we see the likes of Ferrari Esports signing up, where we see Team TF10 in there. Veloce Academy potentially could be opened up as well. All very, very high profile teams. The more high profile we get, the more publicity this event gets and the more it's liked by the community as well. And PC signups, of course, are indeed open as well. I think it is the same date, if I'm not mistaken. Signups will open after the stream. I'm just going to go through my notes very quickly. And it is, 24th of February, 24th of January even, the deadline for signups for PC. It is, again, no assist, so if you do want to sign up, it is just no assist only. Round 1 on the 23rd of February, then qualifying on at 8 p.m. UK time on the 9th of February. That is to be confirmed with sign-up numbers. Free entry and prizes. You get first place €100. So €100. Little jammy so-and-sos on PC get more than PSF1 and F2. But there we are. I'm not going to fight for equality and everything like that. But that is just how we've been given in terms of the funding. But first place, €100 again. And that, again, Mike, is going to be interesting for the prize pool from that perspective because it's going to be forcing those drivers to think, oh, maybe we want to try and go for the money. Maybe we just want to try and go for a bit of pride.
Yeah, I mean, what's called going for the money. I mean, obviously there'll be teams that will stand out as the league runners, but you never know. It could be a very tightly contested across all 10 teams in the PC tier. One thing that I do like though that you just mentioned there. One thing I do like is that they're driving for their pride thing. I do like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be taken into consideration because you've got to think in the whole grand scheme of things. Prize pool, do we push for that as a team, or do we just push to try and be consistent, try and be the best we can be, given the situation and given who we're going to be up against? So that is what, from both a PC side and a PS side, that is what the drivers are going to have to think about. Whether or not you're going to end up like F70 and OP and going at each other's throats for 10 rounds in EML, or if you're going to try and settle your differences, best to do it out on track than it is to do it in private. Let's just put it that way. But we are, I think, pretty much done for the season 6 side of things. It's just now up and yeah, I can't even speak. Up to us and Mike even to plug what is going to be happening on Wednesday night for the European Esports Championship. Round 3, Monza, 3rd of January. Mr. IoT Indigo, Jamie Morris, should be alongside me in the commentary box for that one. Mike will be on backup call once again for round 3. But Monza is a track that it's going to be really interesting for the drivers because I thought it was going to be more DRS training in terms of the racing. I think I did a race around there in League of Europe. Steban will probably back me up on this. It's not too much about DRS training. It's more about the overtaking side of things, and it's more about getting a very good setup for that track because, Mike, setups are going to be so important around a track that has 75% full speed.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to need a very good car in a straight line, but also you need a great car on traction coming out of the corners as well. So it's going to be important getting your setups absolutely spot on because, as you know, coming out of the I forget what the first chicane is called, but I know the De La Roja chicane. The second one. Retafilio, that's the one. That's the one. The Retafilio and the De La Roja chicane traction is going to be crucial at the Lesmos as well. And of course in Parabolica as well, where if you get a little bit too greedy on the throttle, you can lose the back end there.
Yeah, I nearly lost the back end there in League of Europe, and again, not my proudest moment, I've got to be honest, but the championship is well and truly up for grabs. Team Netherlands, by the way, I don't have the graphic actually on hand. Team Netherlands lead the way on 80 points. Slovenia second on 59, Italy third on 55, Romania fourth on 51, then France and Norway tied for fifth on 49. I think France get that because they've had a podium this season. Germany in seventh on 31, then England eighth on 22, Finland ninth on 12, and then Austria in 10th on 5 points. It was Tycho Hardy from Primoz Miklavčić from GLG, the top 3 last week as well. We'll run through the full everything what happened in Zandvoort on Wednesday night's stream. And I'm just trying to find something else that was to do with EEC as well. And I can't for the life of me think about what it was. I might just be going at thin straws here and just trying to egg everyone on to like, comment, subscribe, and take that notification bell if you're brand new to the channel. But yeah, EEC. I think that is everything covered with EEC. Bear with me a second because I'm absolutely lost. You can tell it's fine.
What I could do in that just to fill the time, I could talk about how incredibly well England are doing at the moment to be 8th in the championship, and as a Welshman, it is very very enthusiastic to see England up so high.
It's humbling. It's humbling to see England up so high. Yeah, down in 8th position, they need to get their proverbial arses into gear. That's what I will say. That's what I was looking for, by the way. Who's actually racing for esports, the European Esports Championship? We've only got 2 lineups in at the minute, but they are very talented lineups as well. Team Netherlands, the championship leaders, are relying on not Thomas Ronhaar. Could be a Thomas Ronhaar 2.0 though in this lineup. Kian Goydendorp is in on the PC side, and Tycho Hardy in on the PC side as well. So that's their 2 drivers, Kian and Tycho. Very good history between them both. Both of them, of course, have won PSGL F1 championships. Going to be interesting to see how they get on there. And for France, I think making his debut on PC, if I'm not mistaken, Louis Valentin, who we're sadly losing from PSGL PSF1, Jess, if you are still there. Louis Valentin is on PC. He's going to be debuting on his PC in this event alongside Enzo Soom, who is, I believe, a G League driver currently, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe he's also formerly Veloce Academy. So, going to be interesting to see how they get on. Only 2 lineups, but at the minute there will be more input over the weekend and indeed on Monday and before the deadline on Tuesday, I think 8 o'clock UK time, if I'm not mistaken, about the deadline. But Mike, reviewing that lineup there, Netherlands and France, both teams very, very strong drivers. Are the other teams going to be quaking in the boots, given how Netherlands have got 2 former PSGL F1 champions on the grid?
I mean, Netherlands are putting out absolute cracking lineups week in, week out, and all the teams are probably looking at the lineups each week and thinking, oh, can we have a break, please?
I really hope so. I really hope they can have a break, but they're not going to get any, unfortunately. As I say, we were due to have Thomas Ronhall with PCF1 starting up for PSGL. I know the esports teams, Alfa Romeo especially, have been pushing all of their drivers to try and factor in and try and take everything really seriously. It's phenomenal, I think, to see PSGL getting that, and I wish the event well and everything. But that is, I think, pretty much just done. Avatar, my favourite avatar with a double name there, is in the comment section saying evening to all. Unfortunately, we're going to be ending the stream right now, but you can go back and watch everything that you've missed very, very shortly indeed. I think we've waffled on enough for tonight. But what we can do is, of course, bring you some action out on track on Wednesday and bring you, of course, some really good action going forward for Season 6 of EML. And a big thank you to the guys who have joined me. Troye has escaped my reach. I can't say thank you to him, but thank you nonetheless to the CPI man, and of course to Bumier and to Steban for their contributions in terms of their analysis and in terms of how everything is going to go for Season 5 and indeed for Season 6 as well of EML. And a big thank you, of course, to Mr. Michael Edwards for joining me in the commentary box. We are pretty much done for this launch show. We've waffled on already for an hour. Well, given the time restraints, about 50 minutes. But we're going to end it off here. Thank you so much for watching. And a final word of our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing and indeed Rising Lions. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.